Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, I would not be Detroiter if I did not also greet you with our official Detroit welcome. What up, though?
What up,
So my name is Nicole Brown, and I am the proud board chair of Transportation Riders United, and on behalf of our board and our incredible team here under the leadership of Megan, we want to thank you all so very much for taking time out of your evening to come and spend it with us this evening. Who is excited to learn about the state of transit? We have first and foremost, because it is so packed. And also to awesome people who are here, I also want to give greetings to our amazing attendees who are attending this session virtually on Zoom. Thank you so very much for logging in, and we're excited to have you all join us this evening. And speaking of a packed agenda this evening, we have all kinds of updates for you all. We are so fortunate to be able to have our big four transit providers here in the Metro Detroit region to be able to join us and provide updates on the amazing work that they're doing, discussing some of the challenges that they're overcoming, and really thinking about what the future of transit looks like in Metro Detroit. So we're so excited to be able to welcome representatives from the Regional Transit Authority, from the Detroit Department of Transportation, from the Q Line, and from the Q Line. So we're so excited to be able to have them here. But also, what I am really excited about, you all may have heard about this little report that the Growing Michigan Together Council put out called Growing Michigan Together. And one of the big things that came out of that report was a resounding need for public transportation across our great state. And so we're really excited today to be able to welcome some of our elected officials to be able to come and speak to the caucus that they're developing and really the work that has been long overdue in terms of really moving the needle on public transportation here in our great state of Michigan. We're looking to attract and retain talent. We have got to make sure that no matter if you are able to drive, if you want to drive, or just don't want to, you have an option to not to drive. How many of us have had those days where you're like, I don't want to get in my car. I just want to be able to take the bus, get on light rail, be able to take the train, whatever that does not require me to be able to get into my car and physically drive, and also save a little money along the way. And the work that we do here at TRUE, we are grounded in being able to support all of those providers, being able to support our state legislators, but we cannot do that without making sure that we are listening to the voices on the ground of our everyday residents, our bus riders, who are really the heartbeat of the work that we do, and everything that we do is really for you all and helping to move our state forward. So we are really excited to be able to provide an amazing evening of updates for you all, but to also have your stories shared. So throughout the evening, you will hear from some riders who look just like you. They are your neighbors, your friends, your colleagues, your kids, and they're going to share with you what transit means to them and why this particular topic is so critical to the future of our state. And so, before I go on and continue to bore you all to death, I do want to take a moment to be able to recognize the amazing sponsors and those who really are providing us the opportunity to be able to continue to do this work within the Metro Detroit region. So please forgive me in my old eyes that I have here and having to look up a little bit of information. This work, as we all know, is tireless, and it cannot be made possible without the support of generous funders. And so, to that note, we really would like to be able to thank the following sponsors for allowing us to be able to have support to continue to do this important work. So first, we would love to be able to thank the South Lead Hands Foundation for their generous, ongoing 20-plus year support of TRUE. Thank you so very much. We'd also like to thank the Fourth and Greenlining Foundation, the GM Foundation, as we are sub-grantees through the RAMP network, and also the Energy Foundation. We'd also like to thank the State Office of Economic Development at Wayne State Office of Economic Development here at Tech Town. Thank you all so much. You all love this beautiful venue. Yes. like this. And then also, last but not least, we want to thank you. As much as we have this work is funded through generous donations of the philanthropic sector, and through institutions like Wayne State and Textown, this work would not be possible without the generous donation of our members, of our supporters. So if you donated $5 to thousands of dollars, each one of those dollars made a difference. It allowed for us to be able to fund civic engagement work. It allowed us to be able to do the incredible work that Joel and the team does on our Transit Tuesday talks. It allows for us to be able to do all the things in terms of just getting the newsletter out, making sure that you all are aware of the important, critical legislative changes and updates that are happening. And it also helps to be able to fund the advocacy work that we do here at TRUE. Last but not least, before I get off to this stage, I do want to take a moment to be able to recognize 3 amazing supporters of TRUE who unfortunately passed away last year, but their indelible impact on the work of TRUE, their passion for transit advocacy within our great region is something that deserves to be paid attention to. I'll ask for a moment of silence as we recognize the lives of these 3 amazing transit advocates who are gone too soon. Brother Tom Simpy, Janice Baker, Janice Barber, and Mark Landers. Forgive me, my old eyes here. We'll take just a moment of silence. Thank you. Now, to move us along the program, I'm going to introduce our incredible, powerful, I would dare to say, one of the most powerful women in transit in the state, Megan Owens.
All right, let's get rolling with this event. So we have a powerful agenda planned for you tonight. We have 2 very esteemed panels of both state policymakers as well as leaders of our transit agencies. We're going to hear some bus driver perspectives. We've got a little bit of TRUE business to get through electing some excellent new board members, and we'll talk about ways to get involved. We unfortunately aren't going to have time for audience questions, but I really want to invite everybody. If you're on social media, then share your thoughts. What is your opinion on the state of transit? Tag @Detroit Transit and hashtag State of Transit, and let us know. So, let's see if hey, the clicker's working. Never can tell. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk through what is the state of transit. Well, TRUE really believes that everyone should be able to get where they need to go. And that's why we educate, advocate, and mobilize for more and better public transportation throughout the greater Detroit area. But what does more and better transit really mean? I'm sure our transit providers hear 100 different demands every day for very different things. And while all are relevant, not everything's equally essential. Just like TRUE has to prioritize what we fight for, I started thinking about the hierarchy of needs. Y'all seen this? We all need food, water, shelter, and then we need safety, then love and dignity, and to truly be fulfilled, personal growth and beauty. Well, I developed a transit hierarchy of needs to communicate some of that same concept. First, transit must be available in a community, to be physically and financially accessible to everyone. Then it needs to be reliable, safe, and on time. Once those are achieved, transit should really be convenient, something that works in your life, that's frequent, that's available where and when you need it. Very good transit is also attractive. Something that's got fast service and dedicated lanes and comfortable shelters. The very best transit is preferable to driving in many cases, with premium, high-speed service, integrated payments, interesting art, other features. Ideally, every transit system would have all of these features, but we know that the base pieces are the most essential. And our region has been making some important progress in these areas. Transit is finally available in communities like Novi, Wixom, and elsewhere in Oakland. So a huge bravo to the elected officials, the campaign volunteers, and the voters who made that happen. Next up, service can be expanded to Rochester and beyond. SMART's also working to pave the stops around those stops to make sure transit is truly accessible for everyone. And then, maybe it's time to take on the gaps in Wayne County. Reliability has been the biggest struggle. In terms of reliability, both here and nationwide, transit agencies have struggled since the pandemic, and even more recently, to really hit all of their scheduled service, largely due to a driver shortage. That's been our region's biggest barrier for more than a year, and it's one that TRU has worked really hard to counter with our State Our Service report, a couple rallies, hundreds of riders who mobilized, and we're starting to see some real progress. Sorry, trying to get these mics loud enough, but not fully away. DDOT has made some substantial progress in the paratransit, making it more reliable for the most vulnerable in our community. The Q line has improved its reliability with a dedicated transit lane and enhanced signal timing. We also applaud Mayor Duggan and Council for raising driver wages for DDOT. Now, whether that'll be enough remains to be seen, but it's a critical step in the right direction. And SMART is also in active negotiations for a major wage increase, potentially the highest in the state, but we're still no word on when.
$30.
And that wasn't just one of the activists, that was from someone from SMART. That wasn't just an aspiration. These wage increases really should be enough to attract more drivers, make it a more competitive job, enabling truly reliable bus service so riders don't have to wait around in the cold anymore, not knowing if the bus is going to show up. We're also seeing some improvements in convenience. The Detroit to Ann Arbor Express bus is great. With more than a dozen trips a day, it's a really convenient way to connect these two cornerstones of our region. Heck, get some of our true staff in every week. DDOT is also enhancing the Jefferson route to provide frequencies that will really work around people's lives, as opposed to working and people having to work their lives around the bus schedule. And we might have a chance to see some really attractive transit. RTA piloting a long sought-after airport express. Uh-oh, come on now, there we go. The Airport Express could truly be a truly high-quality, high demand service connecting between downtown and the airport. And that's just a sampling of some of the progress that has been made. We certainly still have more work to do in this region, but I deeply believe the transit agencies are doing everything within their budgets to do the best they can, but major barriers still remain. I know this chart is not new or shocking to anyone who's been around TRU for a while. Our region continues to spend just 1/3 of what most major metropolitan areas spend on transit. And you're never going to have a truly world-class transit system if your funding is declining. Both local and state dollars have been declining, and we've really got to turn that around. For decades, the state has either not been funding transportation or has been putting it almost exclusively into roads and neglecting transit. That can and that must change. Yes. That is why TRU has been fighting for more than 20 years for more and better transit. In addition to bringing riders and leaders and activists together like this, True works in three primary ways. We educate the public and decision makers, stakeholders, the media, about the need for and solutions to transit. We really use our network of riders and allies and do research into the best practices in transit to develop concrete policy solutions, and then we advocate for those solutions to the policymakers that can make them happen. And we mobilize. We can't do this alone. We've got a lot of amazing partners in this room. We're most effective when we bring supporter voices together around meaningful solutions. So, over the past year, there you go. Through Educated, not only our Transit Tuesday talks that I know a lot of folks are out to, but our research reports, our policy white papers, news coverage, we advocated for especially a boost in state transit funding. We held legislative breakfasts. We brought groups up to the Capitol. We mobilized thousands of people to speak out to their legislators. And with help from some of the legislative champions we have here, we won the biggest transit investment in our state's history last year. So that was really exciting. Thank you. There we go. And we mobilize bus riders, drivers, and other supporters to really push Smart and VDOT and the decision makers to resolve this no-show bus crisis and boost driver wages through rallies, media stories, constantly speaking out at city and Smart meetings. Transit leaders have now all acknowledged that driver pay must be increased to be truly competitive. And we've got even more planned for this coming year. We are absolutely going to be educating. We're going to focus on the key role that transit plays as a climate solution as both the region and the state develop climate action plans in the next 2 months and decide how to spend tens or maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars. We'll also educate about the role of transit in tourism, in making Michigan a more attractive place and more affordable place for people to live and work. Transit's got to be a part of that solution. We will absolutely continue advocating, working with our legislative champions here and across the state to make sure the state continues to provide for those transit investments and develops a long-term funding solution to ensure the state is investing in the transit we know is so important. And we'll continue to mobilize. We started mobilizing our members to arrange meetings with their legislators to talk transit. We're working with a great network of organizations to develop policy solutions to get MDOT and state transportation to be part of the solution as opposed to part of the climate crisis. And we're launching a Friends of Transit network. We know there's a ton of organizations, institutions, and businesses who all agree that transit's very important. Well, we want to be your transit advisor. We'll keep you updated. We'll give you meaningful opportunities to get involved. Metro Detroit didn't get to the point in transportation where we are now overnight, and we won't solve it overnight either. But with dedicated legislative champions, hardworking transit agency leaders, and all the riders, advocates, and activists working together collaboratively, this could be an incredible year, and the start of a transportation system that truly does work for everyone to get where they need to go. So that's my perspective on the state of transit. Over the next 90 minutes, you'll hear from another 12 plus people, bus drivers, agency leaders, state policymakers. And again, we love your input on social media, #SaveTransit. Now before I wrap up and move on to the next pieces of our night, I want to make sure to take a brief moment to introduce some of TRU's amazing staff. Unfortunately, Joel Batterman and Karen Boyd, that many of you know, are both out on medical leave. But if you haven't, Petra is our awesome new design specialist, working hard tonight to make sure to manage all of our AV and make sure everyone tuning in from home can follow along. So thank you, Petra, for all that AV. We've got a powerhouse team of outreach and engagement folks, Thomas and Aaron and Lucas, who are all out, at least part-time, connecting through the community and mobilizing more and more people to be involved in transit. And couldn't do it without Deborah Freer, who's Assistant Director, Partnerships Manager, and my right hand in an awful lot of things. So I'd like to invite Deb up for a few minutes before we move along. Thank you.
Wow, we did a lot of work last year. When you got your nose to the grindstone, you don't look up and you see all the work that you've done. But spending all that time getting people together and trying to get people to see eye to eye and to agree on things. Anybody that's worked in public policy knows that that's not an easy thing to do. Bringing everybody together to make something happen. And I am very fortunate to be able to work with Megan. She just pushes on through and she makes things happen. And I'm very, very honored to be able to work with her to make public transit better in our community and in our state. Ultimately, we do work in the Detroit area, but of course our work takes us to the state legislatures, and it affects a lot of the 78 transit agencies here in Michigan. And all that work takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, and putting events on like this does cost a little bit of money these days. So we are so grateful to all of you for being here and supporting TRU's work, and to all of our virtual attendees who have supported us as well. Megan talked about the great volunteers. We've got a great number of board members that really care about the work that we're doing, as well as the elected officials that we work with, and the riders who are amazing. I'll tell you what, they turn out for Earth Day like nobody's business. And we're just so blessed to have them. We've got a lot more work to do, and I think everybody in the room knows that. So I would just ask you to please keep us in mind when you're doing your personal giving, and maybe set like a calendar reminder once a month to call your legislator and say, hey, what's going on with public transit? I know that I've started doing that, and boy, do I know my legislators. And they know me. So thank you all again very much for coming tonight, and please, if you find our work valuable, if you see the progress that we're making, please continue to support our work. We are working very hard to grow TRU over the next 3 years. That is a stated goal by our board, and we need more phenomenal people, and we need to attract the best talent by also offering good living wages. So anything that you can do to help us out would be greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for all the things that you already do. Thank you so much.